Today's lesson is about review for trig functions in calculus. 5a. Let theta be an obtuse angle such that sin theta equals 3 over 5. Find the value of tangent theta. Obtuse angle means the second quadrant. So for second quadrant, only sine is positive. So you can write down positive sine, negative cosine, and a negative tangent. Therefore, for sin theta equals 3 over 5, cosine theta equals negative square root 1 minus sin square theta. That equals negative square root 1 minus 3 over 5 square. You will get negative square root 16 over 25. That is negative 4 over 5. Therefore, for tangent theta equals, using this formula, sin theta over cosine theta. That is 3 over 5. Cosine theta is negative 4 over 5. For complex fraction, same denominator, you will get the negative 3 over 4. So we write down tangent theta equals negative 3 over 4. Now go to 5b. Line L passes through the origin and has a gradient of tangent theta. Find the equation of L. Gradient of tangent theta, that's negative 3 over 4. Passing through the origin, which means we can write down y equals mx. B will be 0. So we can write down y equals negative 3 over 4. X will be the equation for L. 5c. Let f of x equals this. Find the derivative of f. So we write down f prime of x equals ex sin x. We do derivative. Then minus 3x over 4, we do derivative, equals. Remember, for e to the x power times sin x, you have to use this product rule. The derivative for e to the x power, that is e to the x power times sin x, then plus e to the x power times derivative of sin x will be cosine x. Then minus derivative for x equals 1, so minus 3 over 4. This will be the derivative of f of x. Let's write down e to the x power sin x plus e to the x power cosine x. Then minus 3 over 4. Let's go to 5d. The following diagram shows the graph of f for x is between 0 to 3. Line M is tangent to the graph of f at point P. Given that M is parallel to L, find the x-coordinate of P. Since M is parallel to L, they will have the same slope. So we get the slope of this line M will be negative 3 over 4. Since this M is tangent to the graph of f at point P, we know the definition of a derivative is a slope of a tangent line, which means f prime of x equals negative 3 over 4. Now I will plug in f prime of x, that is e to the x power sine x plus e to the x power cosine x minus 3 over 4 equals negative 3 over 4. Cancel this, you will get the e to the x power. We do the common factor, that is the sine x plus cosine x equals to 0. As we know, b to the x power never equals to 0. Therefore, e to the x power cannot be equal to 0. The only way we get equal to 0 is sine x plus cosine x equals to 0. We divided by cosine x for every term. You will get tangent x plus 1 equals to 0. So tangent x equals negative 1. We need to get the reference angle. Reference angle equals pi over 4. But tangent x equals negative 1. That's less than 0. So we go to second and fourth quadrant. You will write down 3 pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. So x1 equals 3 pi over 4 and x2 equals 7 pi over 4. You need to check the domain. The x is between 0 to 3. Therefore, this will be the solution, 3 pi over 4. Now let's go to 7a. Let f of x equals 6 plus 6 sine x. Part of the graph of f is shown below. The shaded region is enclosed by the curve f, the x-axis and the y-axis. So for x is between 0 to 2 pi for these two equations. Let's figure out the range for 6 plus 6 sine x. We know the sine x is between negative 1 to 1. So we get the 6 plus 6 times the positive and negative 1. 6 plus 6 times the positive 1. You will get the 12. For 6 plus 6 times the negative 1, you will get 0. Which means this will be 12. And this will be 0. The midline will be 6. This will be y equals 6. Therefore, for the first one, 6 plus 6 sine x equals to 6. We are looking for this point and this point. You will get the 6 plus 6 sine x equals to 6. Minus 6 both sides, you get the 6 sine x equal to 0. Sine x equals to 0. Let's go to quadrantal angle. Sine x equals to 0. The x will be 0 and x equals to pi because the coordinate will be 1, 0, 0 and negative 1, 0, 0. This will be CST. CST. Therefore, x equals 0 and pi. This will be 0 and this will be pi. For second equation, you will get the sine x equals to negative 1. This x is a quadrantal angle. Therefore, you will check this one is 0, -1, undefined. Say as t. That is 3 pi over 2. So you get the x equals 3 pi over 2. In other words, the x coordinate for this point will be 3 pi over 2. For 7b, write down the exact value of x-intercept of f. That will be 3 pi over 2. Let's go to 7c. The area of a shaded region is k. Find the value of k. Give your answer in terms of pi. The shaded area will be the integral from 0 to 3 pi over 2 for 6 plus 6 sine x dx. We know the integral of 6 will be 6x plus 6 times the integral for sine x will be negative cosine x. We will do from 0 to 3 pi over 2. Let's organize 6x minus 6 cosine x from 0 to 3 pi over 2. So we plug in 3 pi over 2 first. You will get the 6 times 3 pi over 2 minus 6 times cosine 3 pi over 2. Then minus, we do parentheses here. 6 times 0 minus 6 times cosine 0. According to this coordinate of quadrantal angles, we know that cosine 3 pi over 2 CST will be 0. Then we get 9 pi. 6 times 0 is 0. Negative negative will be a positive. Cosine 0, that equals to 1. 6 times 1, that is a plus 6. So k equals 9 pi plus 6. For 7d, let g of x equals this. The graph of f is transformed to the graph of g. Give a full geometric description of this transformation. We write down the f of x equals 6 plus 6 sine x. You have to compare g of x to the f of x. The only difference is minus pi over 2. This is 6, here is 6. This is 6. So extra number is negative pi over 2. Therefore, the transformation will be f is translated to the right pi over 2 units. We can write down the vector pi over 2, 0. Remember, when you do the transformation, insider is a liar. Therefore, minus pi over 2, you have to move to the right. Let's go to 7e. Let g of x equals 6 plus 6 sine x minus pi over 2. The graph of f is transformed to the graph of g, which means move to the right pi over 2 unit. Given that integral from p to p plus pi over 2 of g of x dx equals k, and p is between 0 to 2 pi, write down the two value of p. First of all, let's sketch this g of x. We will move this function to the right pi over 2 units. So you will get this is the point. And here's the point. This will be the point. And this will be point, and this will be point. We will sketch the graph like this. Since for p is between 0 to 2 pi, so I will extend the line like this. This shaded area is k. So one is pretty easy to get. It's from here to here. This area, it will be same as the given shaded area. In other words, p equals pi over 2. There is another area will be equals to the given shaded area, like this side. In other words, p equals 0 also. So write down the two values of p equals 0 and pi over 2.